Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a ride and a chat, and I'm buckling up because this is a really important question, and it's important to know the answer. So let's really talk about this. I really think it's kind of interesting is I met one of my neighbors a couple years ago, say like 2 years ago, and it was really interesting because we were working on a project in the yard. My husband and I were struggling to pull something out of the yard, and it was kind of interesting that he drove past and stopped and started chatting with us. And I was like, well, I thought I saw your car, go by the end of our street because we live on a short street. And he was like, well, yeah, I didn't want to come down because I saw y'all working and I'm lazy. I was like, interesting, because that's kind of the interesting part about this is so many times people tell you about themselves, but we kind of like laugh it off. And I did at the time and I was like, oh, ha 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 ha. But then I realized, like, he's right. I don't mean like he's a lazy person all the time. What I'm saying is he doesn't like manual labor. So I was like, I can kind of understand that. But I've heard this from several other people. About 3 weeks ago, something like that, I was talking to the lady behind me in the checkout line and just kind of chit-chatting because the person in front of us had a whole bunch of stuff and it was taking what we thought was a long time. So not a big deal. We chit-chatted and talked and everything else, and she was kind of like just telling me her truth, and I just thought it was like, she was telling me that her husband keeps pushing her to get like a real job and not work at home because, like, with the price of everything going up, they aren't making like ends meet anymore. And she basically flat out said, I don't want to. And so every time he asks me about it, I say I'm putting in applications, I'm putting in this. And she was like, basically, I don't want another job. And I just thought it was like so interesting. Like, she was just like telling a stranger. And I was like, well, have you told your husband that? And she goes, no, I just keep telling him that I'm putting in applications and no one wants me and that sort of thing. And I'm just like, okay. So she's willing to tell a complete stranger who's talked to her for like 5 or 6 minutes her truth, but not willing to share that with her husband. And this is like only a few examples that I have, because it happens all the time. I was talking to someone, I want to say like 6 months ago or so. This one was one of those like really interesting, and standing in line somewhere, I think to pay for the gas, and the pump wouldn't start, so I needed to go inside and talk to them and have them start the pump. And so the guy behind me was, I could tell him like looking at me, and so I thought, well, maybe he recognizes me, you know what I'm saying, because I've lived in the area for a long time. And so I kind of turned and I was like, hi, how are you doing? And he goes, I'm doing all right. And and then he goes, oh, are you married? And I was like, well, yeah, I got a ring on the finger. And we were kind of just laughing, and he goes, and like, he didn't have a ring on his finger. And I was like, oh, so are you married? Just kind of because he asked me, I was like, okay, let me ask him. And he goes, well, yeah. And I was like, oh, but you don't have a ring. And he goes, oh, my ring comes on and off all the time. And I was like, oh, interesting. And he goes, yeah, I have a wife and a girlfriend, and I'm always looking for another. And I was just like, really? And I just thought it was so amazing. Like, here he is, like, telling a complete stranger his truth about him not only cheating on his wife, because he didn't even know if I know his wife or anything else, or his girlfriend doesn't even know if I know her or anything. I was like, oh my gosh, like, so many people are doing this, and I know why they're doing it, but I don't think they know why they're doing it. It's really all about that Pluto going in to Aquarius energy, because Pluto is all about the underworld, the things that you would normally kind of like not talk about, but the way he was talking about it is almost like he was proud of it. He was proud that he had a wife and a girlfriend and always looking for more. And I was just like, we chatted for another minute or so until I left the store, but I was just kind of like, that's really an interesting side that here he is telling a complete stranger about what he's doing and not doing, like literally kind of almost like proud that he is cheating on his wife, cheating on his girlfriend, and always looking for someone else to cheat with. And I'm just like, seriously, this is really bizarre, because that's kind of the weird part that I'm seeing more and more as we get more and more into Pluto in retrograde, or Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, is all of that coming in of like just literally blurting out their truth, even if it's kind of like the rebellion part, that Aquarius energy of like, I'm just being a rebellion. I'm not, I'm honoring my wife in our marriage. I'm not honoring my girlfriend in our relationship together. And they probably don't know about each other. And then on top of that, the bizarre part is that he's always looking for someone else. So it's like, he's not trustworthy with any of them. Kind of like, oh my God. I was just like, wow. Yeah, kind of crazy. But I will tell you, I hear this so often. And so my message to you is literally listen to the words that people tell you. Listen to the words that people tell you and really think about it. Because a lot of times when they say it right in the moment, you're kind of like, oh, okay, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? And you're not thinking about it. Think about it. Take it in and really, what are the words that they're telling me? What are the words that this person is telling me about themselves? And I think it's really interesting, and it can really give you a mindset of just like, wow, this is kind of crazy that you're telling a complete stranger about your life. Yeah, I guarantee we're going to see more and more of that as we get more and more into Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. So make sure that you're really kind of listening to the words that people say about themselves, about their lives, about their families, about their spouses, about their boyfriend and girlfriend, all of that kind of stuff. Make sure that you are keeping all of that in your mind, because it is going to blow your mind with the information that people just blurt out. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.